I need to finish. Early. 7, 8. Just because I need to get work done and then pray and everything like that. Oh, I do. I do. Yeah. My babe. This rough hair looks not the one at all, blood. I need to lower this down. Hold on. Do you know what? Bloody hell, coach. Bloody hell. Alright, cool. Alright. It's hot in the dawn, yeah. Oh my days, bruv. Look, man sweat, you know. Man sweat. Blood. Okay, do you know what? Yeah, so back. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. But why does my face look so hot? This is a mad thing. I don't understand. I look like I'm sweating like a madman. 2 secs. I'm going to come back, guys. I'm sweating. Jesus. I was sweating like I was moving mad, cuz. Yeah. Listen, I can't even bring the hair out, fam. Look at the hair. It's a mad thing. Alright. Guysy, we're here. I don't know, this thing's making me feel like I'm moving mad, you know. I'm looking like I've come out one desert, blood. What is going on, darling? Clearly my house is obviously hotter than it needs to be. It's a mad thing. Okay, cool. I know this lighting is moving mad as well. That is it. Stay there. Oh, maybe this is even connects it. You know, you're trying to get that perfect lighting, guys. You know when you try to connect the lighting and it's not rotting. No. Let me do this way, brother. That's a bit better. Okay. Oh, this light is not connecting, bro. Okay. All right, cool. So we're gonna have to just make do because I can't deal. All right, guys. Welcome back to Little Black Book 91. We're gonna be talking to you guys about family today. Yes, we're back with a mad thing. How's my throat? Yeah, my throat's recovered. Listen, it was mad. I was playing football this week, so I was screaming and shouting. So my throat is it's kind of coming back. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit raspy, as you can hear, but we coming back strong. We coming back strong. Don't worry about that. We come back strong. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know today we said we're gonna talk about family, the conversation from early. So yeah, let's kind of get into the conversation. So I know many people, obviously, in this generation, you know, we're either what do you call it, second generation, third generation, I don't know what you want to call it. But maybe like your parents came from overseas, from Caribbean or from Africa, settled here, and then obviously had yourself, okay? And sometimes that can leave, I guess, a gap between generations in terms of the way that people understand certain things. So many of us have probably heard from our parents, oh, that you won't make it if you do this certain thing, or you can't be a comedian, you can't be this, you can't be that. Go and be a doctor, go and be a lawyer, go and be these kind of things, right? Because they've got it in their head that these jobs, yeah, my throat feels bad, trust me. They've got it in their heads that, you know, these jobs are the ones that we need to go for, right? And so that shows us already that we have a difference in the way that we see the world. We have social media and people get jobs, get found, get known, everything like that of social media, but our parents might not understand that, right? So when you mention something along those lines, like I remember I was talking to someone and they were talking about like being an MUA, and the parent was like, "What is an MUA? Go and get a degree." And it's like that in itself was pain and Pele, right? So there's clear differences and demarcations between our generation and our parents' generation. There were clear differences in terms of our expectations, what we're expecting from ourselves, what we're expecting from life. Yeah, some of our parents were in a mindset of surviving, not thriving. Right, and the blessing we have is that we have a foundation that they've built that we can thrive upon. Okay. So obviously, like I said, today's conversation, we're going to talk about family trauma and just talk about how to heal and how best to go about some of these conversations with our parents, how best to kind of initiate these kind of conversations as well. And I'm going to try and take into account that not everybody has the same type of parenting. You get me? So let's go. Let's go. Okay. All right. Let me just put this up here and then do this. Fast. Yes. All right, cool. So, why does they not go away? All right. So, yeah, talking about obviously family time. I know there are different types of people. So many people are in different categories. So some of you and your parents are in a good place. Yeah, you talk every day, you catch two jokes every day, you have a great relationship, right? There are some of you who maybe only have one parent. That one parent is like your best friend. You chat every day, everything's kosher, everything's good. Some of you are in a place where you are in a house, in a two-parent house, and both parents, you don't necessarily get on with them. They don't necessarily have much to do with you. Or let's say one parent has something to do with you, and the other parent's a bit, the relationship's not quite there yet. And then there's in other households where no parents, none of them get on with you. None of them are on your case. None of them show this love or this care or anything like that, right? And it feels like you are pretty much alone. And some of you, you're not even in the house. You don't talk to your parents at all. You're not cool with your parents at all. Do you know what I'm saying? You get me? So there's different categories that people find themselves in. By the way, guys, please like the video. It just means that people can, the analytics just go up better. Do you know what I'm saying? If you like the video, I don't really care about the likes, but it just helps the analytics and people can see it as well. But so there are different categories of groups. So whatever category you're going to find yourself in, you are here today and potentially you're looking at how to improve your relationship with. I want to make this disclaimer. I cannot heal your relationship, okay? I cannot magic your relationship into being better. I cannot give you a magic formula, but what I can talk about is certain things that can appreciate you, certain things that can help your relationship foster in a much more better way. Okay, so let's for instance take a situation where the parent doesn't talk to you. I know some of you are in fact, if you probably don't want to share that. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you've got a similar situation like that, you can just put a thumbs up if you want. It's up to you if you want to do that. But I know many people are in a situation where they do not have any communication with that parent. None. Yeah? In fact, and I always find there's two sets of people. The two sets of people are when a parent doesn't want anything to do with them, or it seems like the parent is trying to make it work, and it's painful to do so. Yeah. Now, if you are the person that says I don't care, you've gone into numb mode. Okay. Numb mode means basically you don't want to feel nothing, right? It's easier not to feel anything, so you just decide that you're gonna just go. I ain't gonna feel nothing. Up to you what you do as a parent. That's your business. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. Do you understand? And that's where you've become numb and non-sensitive to the situation. Hi Rebecca, good to see you too. Here's Nazuri as well. Appreciate you. Then the other category is that, you do feel and you really want a relationship and it hurts every single time that you at least try to make a little bit of a conversation with that parent. And it's like that person it's like that parent just throws you underneath the bus or they just run over you. They ignore you. They don't talk to you. They don't want to have anything to do with yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of parenting is kind of mad, right? So let's deal with that issue. Let's deal with that particular situation. Okay, I can give a biblical example on this example. So the example I would give, and I think you guys probably heard me say it before, David in the Bible. Okay, David in the Bible was a fighter, a killer. Man could look after sheep. Man could look after lion. Man was just on point when it came to leading. Yeah, if you wanted something to be led, get David involved. Do you understand? That guy never missed a heartbeat. Okay, but the problem with David was didn't have a relationship with his father, and that made him into a little bit of a womanizer. Yeah. So now you've got a situation with David where he's a womanizer and he's leading the nation of Israel. And as a king, he ends up stealing somebody else's wife. Yeah, because he could. Yeah, because of the what he experienced as a youth, as the fact that his parent or his dad never gave him the affection or the love that he desired. And the reason why we know this is because when they asked his dad, "Where is this all your sons?" He says, "Yeah." Then he remembers, "Oh, he's got one son in the field," which kind of shows that the parent does not really feel for him. The parents not really on job like that. They don't like him that much, right? And I know many of you are in a situation like that where you've experienced a parent who is negligent to you. Okay. Now here's the thing for you. Okay, I'm gonna try and break this down for you. What is going on with? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when you got a parent that doesn't care for you, okay, you are. It's it's tough because you can't force their hand to do anything. Okay. Now the psychological aspect of trying to get a parent to open up to discuss yourself will fall on your hands. And that's where it hurts, if I'm honest with you. All right. The difficulty of this relationship is that you are in more need. It seems like you are in more need of that parent than they are in need of you. Right. And so because of what you need out of them, the onus to sort out the relationship kind of falls on your head first. I mean, when I say falls on you, the initiation, yeah, the initiative to take forward falls on you. Now, here's one of the ways. The Bible says that we heap hot coals upon their head by loving them. Some people really need hot coals upon their head. Appreciate you, Glory GD. I really appreciate you. Some people need hot coals upon their head in order for them to be able to understand your viewpoint. So here's how it works. What you do is there's a tactical strategy to this. So you have to kind of find out what their love language is. I know it sounds, and I know it's so annoying, right? And if you know about love languages, there is words of affirmation, there is gifts, there is quality time, there is what's the other two? I always forget there were two now. Physical touch, and then obviously as well acts of service, right? All right, cool. So there's a and this is the difficult part because trying to find out what their love language is always a tough part because without having obviously conversation or not knowing them prior, it's kind of hard to figure out. So there is a case of trial and error. I'm just have to break it down to the most practical point of view because there is no other way to do this, right? Like unless you can broker an uncle or an auntie who is on your side. So another way of looking at it is actually trying to get an uncle or auntie on side or if someone's got a good relationship with them that has a good relationship with you, like the past. Again, if you don't go to church, it's different. Pastor or a family friend, somebody who's close enough to that parent that you desire to have a relationship with. Maybe you can have a conversation with that individual if you trust them. I'm going to be very clear. If you trust them, if you don't trust them, probably best not to go there. But if you have a trusted person who's outside of the family, okay, outside of the immediate nucleus of, okay, because now what you can, when we were younger, when we used to date, your girlfriends and stuff, we used to have a way of doing, like, if you messed up with your girlfriend, what you used to do was that you go to the best friend and you tell the best friend, you know what, like we've been having some problems, and I really love, I really love your friend, innit? And she's just the bomb, like, but we've just been having some problems, da 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 da, da, right? And as you feed the best friend information, the best friend goes back and tells the friend. Yeah. And see, and so it becomes a tactic that we use when we're dating, right? And the same thing here with parents. Sometimes there needs to be a non invasive way in order to be able to speak something to them, right? And this is only one tactic. I'm just saying to you, it's so hard. It's not easy. But if you have that in your arsenal, somebody who you trust, who's like a brother of your mom or dad, or a sister, or you know what I'm saying, like auntie, uncle, whatever, that is part of your, your family, right? That you can trust. You can begin to drip feed them information. And what you're going to drip feed them is not how much you want to hurt your parent or how much anything like that. What you want to drip feed them is honest conversation. For instance, let's say the parent doesn't talk. She said, listen, do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. It really does hurt. Like, me and my parent haven't really been having much conversation. What I really wanted to see, I wanted to actually be able to talk to her because I really do need her. I feel like I haven't been able to talk to the parent. I've not been able to have discussions. I've not been able to tell her some of the things that have been going on with me. And this is where your honesty is so important. Because obviously you're gonna have to release a little bit of information. You don't have to release everything. It's not everything. Just need to drip feed enough to make the uncle, the auntie, or whatever, or the cousin, or whatever, just know that you are in a bit of pain and a bit of bother. And do you get what I'm saying? And then they can have a conversation which is non-invasive, because what you want is that parent to kind of go to them, not in anger. This is why it's very important what you drip feed. It's not, I want to hurt them, or they're such a bad parent. They may have been a bad parent. You're going to have to kind of gloss it up a little bit, how's your hair? Yeah, the hair is going mad still. I've got a hair care products. The missus has got me on hair care products. So in honest truth, what you want to be able to do is drip feed just information where it's not attacking your parent, but saying what you need. Okay, look, do you know what? I haven't, again, I want to just give an example. I haven't been able to kind of speak to my mom of late. I feel like we're at a little bit of a distance. And I just really want to be able to talk to her because I want to be able to just, I want to be able to have a conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that she's got great advice, great wisdom. You just got to lace it a little bit. You know what I mean? You got to lace it a little bit when you bring the missus on. Soon come. You got to lace it a little bit so that the person who's the outsider can go and give good information to the parent. If you don't have that particular instance, the other example is that you're direct. Okay? And you're direct, maybe, like I said, finding out, no, I don't. I don't live with the missus now. I live my own. Finding out whether your parent has certain love language. So, for instance, if you know your mum's missus. Now you don't got to say missus. If you know your mum, let's say for instance, love language is or let's say acts of service. You might do something for her. You might make something for her, right? And that can then break the stone wall between yourself and them. If you know your mum's a words of affirmation, then maybe having a conversation, saying, "Mum, do you know what? I really appreciate this, that, that." Listen, I'm not saying lie. I'm saying just be economical with the truth. You know what I mean? Lace it. You have to lace it a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, when you need a job and they ask you why do you need a job, and you start saying all sorts of stuff, and that is not why you need a job. You just need the money, but you're gonna say it with a little bit of lace. Exact same kind of thing, right? You just want to say the exact same kind of thing. You want to be able to lace it as well. Hold on, I just want to just make this as well. Oh, why is it doing that? 12 hours. Oh, damn, Queen Butterfly, you're going in. You're going in. Please take a break as well. I appreciate you. So you want to be able to appreciate you, Noah. We've been praying for you, Queen Butterfly. Trust me. We want to be able to have that conversation with the parents. So there's something that you almost have to set them up. Set them up for the conversation. Do you know what I mean? And so that parent doesn't want to have anything to do with you. There must be a reason as to why. Sometimes, let me tell you something about parents. Sometimes they are struggling to come to you, right? Because they feel like as a parent, maybe they should have done something, or they haven't done something, or you remind them of something, and actually they have so much pride, they don't want to come have a conversation with you. And that's what I'm saying to you. Sometimes it rests on your shoulders to go to your parent. right? And I'm telling you from a place of I actually need to do better myself. I need to go to my parent too. Not saying they're bad, but I need to have more conversations. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate Kalina. We good. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, finding out what's going to soften the heart is key. You understand? Or if you know what your parent likes, let's say they like a certain type of food. Yeah. So rather than even find a love language, they like a certain type of food. You buy the food. Yeah. Because it's the thought we're trying to get the mindset going. You know what I mean? They may ask, why is it you're doing what you're doing? And you say, look, I just want to do something nice. And also I want to have a conversation with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now I am talking about a fact that a parent actually wants to talk. Because there are some parents that just hate you, and no matter what you do, it seems they're not breaking it down. And then this is why I say, look, sometimes it comes to a place of prayer. And I know many of you, I don't know if everybody on here, I've got 53 people in the live, and I really appreciate you. I don't know if everybody here is a Christian, but I would say try Jesus in a sin. Yes, Queen Butterfly, and we're going to come on to that. Some parents do pretend as if they did nothing wrong. We're going to talk about that as well. Thank you for reminding me as well. Sometimes it comes down when a parent doesn't want to open up and have a conversation with you. Sometimes it comes down also to praying. Some of the people that I've helped in the past, we've prayed about their parent, and it still relied on them making the first move. All the prayer did was soften the heart of the individual so they can have a conversation. So in all things, I would say to you guys, I know many of us are hurt. I know many of us feel frustrated because we've dealt with our parents for so long, and some of their nonsense that they do, we don't want to go through it anymore. Yeah, we don't want to deal with it anymore, right? And we expect their parent to come to us. So I hear you. I hear you. And I hear you. But in this case, we're gonna need you to be the bigger person. I know you're the younger. I know you're the child. I know you were the person, obviously, who was even hurt, more than likely. Like a parent probably. And you know what? The thing is, parents say things and get convenient amnesia. You know, they crush your dreams. They say very insensitive stuff. Mothers try to turn kids against fathers, especially during the divorce. That's true as well. You know, they say so much things, and they suddenly forget they said these things, but you haven't forgot. You remember these things, right? Now, in order to communicate with that parent, you can't unload everything on their neck. Do you know why? Because of pride. Yeah? Because if it wasn't pride, you would have come to have a conversation with you already. Pride makes an individual unresponsive and unresponsible for some of the things they did. They don't exactly some of the things they don't even believe in some of the things. You say to them, I have a dream, and they tell you, oh, you get a proper job. You know what I mean? Yeah? Or they rubbish your dreams, right? Now, when this happens, I'll give you an example. Me and my dad are cool. We're not at eggs, and we can talk. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't even get it twisted. But I remember I came to him and I was like, oh, Dad, you know what? I really just started this relationship counseling stuff. Oh, by the way, guys, if you guys need some relationship counseling, it's not free, but come to me, check me, and, you know, we can talk about some prices. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? Counseling, baby. My dad said to me, obviously, you know, I said to him, oh, Dad, you know, I've started this counseling stuff. And people actually paying me for advice, right? And he asked me how much. And I said, oh, it was only like, I only charged like 15 quid, right? And he said to me, okay, good. And I was like, okay, good. Is that all you're going to say? You're not going to say, well done? You're not going to say, I'm proud of you, son? You're not going to say, you know what, I'm glad that you're starting something, like, well done, you're progressing, you know what I'm saying? And then what happens? Suddenly, the person didn't understand. Yes, Rebecca, that's a true point as well about throwing the Bible. Suddenly, the parent obviously just is like, oh, I didn't even know I didn't say that. So you see, some people are not aware that they're not doing certain things. Do you understand? So it's up to us to communicate some of the things that they're not doing correctly. So I'm just going to address Rebecca's point really quickly, because it is a true point. I don't know what's going on my thing. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. I don't know what's going on my thing. My live, I can't even. Hold on. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I shared with family and suddenly, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So for mentoring young people, I found that young kids want to talk to African parents about mental health. They're steeped inundated in religion to the point that they throw the Bible, but it's only half the battle. Yes, you're absolutely right. So, like, even a conversation about mental health, you see, The reason why a parent throws Bible at mental health is because of ignorance. Yeah, and when I say ignorance, don't tell your parent that they're ignorant, please. Again, words and language is very key in how you communicate a certain topic or a certain idea to somebody. Okay, don't go around calling your parents ignorant, all right? Because that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna cut it. Their pride will flare up, and they'll tell you they'll tell you something about yourself, right? So what you have to understand is the child needs information. Sorry, child. The parent needs information. This is why I said that it relies almost on us. The conversation is really touching. I've lost my dad and my mum and other siblings. No family members don't care about me. They actually hate everything about me. Wow, Rita, that is big. That is big. That is big. That's deep. That's deep. That's great, boy. That's deep. You know what? I'll address that as well, Rita, for you after as well. Yeah. So the parent oftentimes is lacking information. This is like when I deal with things like when we talk, like if you guys are following me, I talk about sexual violence and talk about the privilege of men. We talk about racism, all that kind of stuff, right? All of that, all of that, I realize is steeped in ignorance. People are ignorant, okay? And when they're ignorant, they're unable to hold a conversation. So they can only throw to you what information they have. Do you understand? Don't worry, Nisha, we only started a few minutes ago. Do you understand? So a lot of parents don't have conversation, or they throw the Bible at you or throw some ignorant comment because they're ignorant. Do you see what I'm saying? So because of their ignorance, they then hurt you in that, right? Without listening. So here's the thing. Then it's up to us to find a way politely. Sorry, I think I pressed it. Bro, my finger's just moving mad. I don't know what it's doing because now that the filter's gone all crazy. Anyway, it's up for us as it's up to us as the person who's in need to then now begin to pull together the facts so that we can have a genuine conversation around the topic. So, for instance, if that's why I said to you, like, if you're dealing with parents who are ignorant to a subject, you are tasked as an individual who I know it, and I know it's annoying because it's like, why do I have to do the work? And this is the way it is, unfortunately, that we come correct and say, listen, actually, Dad, do you know what, or Mum, actually, mental health. I want to break down some things for you. I just want to break some things down for you. And if they don't listen, you send them a text. If they don't listen to the text, you send them a letter. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? You find a way to kind of, they're not going to listen. You send something to them to get them to a place. And sometimes you have to leave it alone or leave them with the information and kind of go away for a little while, right? And leave the subject for a little while just to let them simmer on it, yeah? Because some parents, their pride is so much that even when you try to explain your point, they shut you down right there and then. Yeah? They'll tell you, I don't want to hear it. The Bible says it is this. Well, then if the Bible says this is this, you got two choices. If someone says, like, for instance, if someone says it's about religion, right? If someone says, oh, the religion says this, right? Rather than kind of going with a scientific explanation for certain things. Let's say, for instance, you are Christian, yeah? And I appreciate you, Rahama, sorry. I appreciate you, Rita, as well. If your parent have got to a point where they are, going to say, oh, the Bible says this, or, the Quran says this. This is where it's tough, man. It's a war, yeah? So in the war, you have to find your weapon, right? And so in this particular war, it's a war about what their ideology is, right? So you got two choices. Either you counteract that ideology with something stronger, or you fight on the same playing level. Yeah, so if they're talking about Bible, you got to talk about Bible. And if you don't know Bible, you get someone who knows about Bible to explain to you about the particular topic when it comes to mental health. Or, you have to kind of go into the Bible yourself. Same with Quran or whatever faith that they are representing, right? Sent her a letter and didn't respond. I know she thinks about, oh my gosh, in order to not really face reality. Wow. Okay, Sabrina, really appreciate you as well. Thank you for donating. Queen Butterfly sent a letter and really didn't respond. I know she thinks about that. We'll talk about that as well, non-responses, because there are some parents are just non-responsive to letters, man. I think that was a comment I wanted to just read. He said, obviously, the conversation really touched. I lost my dad, my mom, and other siblings, no family members don't care about me. They actually hate everything about me. Now, there are situations like this as well, where I'm going to just touch on Rita's example, where like the whole family seems to abandon you. Yeah. The whole family, and this is where you have to almost take stock. Some family have to get dash away in the bin. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Some family needs to get dash away in the bin. Here's what I mean by that. Doesn't mean do it rudely. It just means I just can't enter your sphere of toxicity. Yeah? So listen, for instance, read to your situation. You write each of them a letter and you leave it. Yeah, because you've done your job. Like, if they're toxic individual members of your family, they're like, toxicity is so. When someone's toxic, yeah, unless a person is willing to fight with you in a ring, they are going to stay in their toxicity, and all that's going to happen is you're going to get poisoned. You understand? And sometimes protecting your peace is better in the long run than trying to stay in a situation to try to figure it out when the person doesn't want to figure it out. So the Bible tells us, listen, a friend that's closer is better than a brother that's far. Because sometimes the person who's far away, okay, that person who's far away, even though they're your blood, they're literally far away, not only in proximity, but also emotionally. So sometimes a friend who sticks closer to you is like the brother. So there's another example in the Bible. David, and I think this is the reason why David clung on to Jonathan so much. David didn't have the father figure, right, with his dad, right, Jesse. So enter the sphere where he met Saul, right? Saul was a bit more of a father figure, but then Saul turned on him, right? And then David clung to the son of Saul called Jonathan, and they became like brothers. So sometimes your blood isn't your blood. Sometimes your blood isn't your blood. If we talk about Jesus, he came onto his own and his own rejected him. So this is nothing new. Parents, brothers, sisters, uncles aren't equals of how those who are willing to can be. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, again, I want you to understand, it's not everybody. Sometimes you just need to just separate yourself, pray about it, and see what God says. Yeah, that's what, I didn't want to go too Christian, but I want to bring some psychology first. Now, for those obviously who are Christians, the thing that we can do is begin to pray. Yeah, and begin to pray for God to either soften the heart or reveal what the problem is. To reveal what the problem is. Because some parents are engaged in so much pride that only prayer seems to break that mold. Do you feel what I'm saying? So I'm gonna hit someone's point because the point that was being made, there was another point that was made. Queen Butterfly said obviously sent a letter. She didn't really respond. I know she thinks about her wrongdoing. She just likes to pretend she doesn't remember in order not to face reality. So yeah, Queen Butterfly is giving a good example. You can give somebody a letter, they read it, and they still don't care, right? Now, if the parent is locked in pride in this situation where the person's like, I don't want to remember what I did, okay? Sometimes you must become the lamb to the slaughter. Yeah? Example here, Jesus, in order to save the world, became a lamb, got slapped, spat on, punched, kicked in order to get a response. Sometimes you got to take the L to get the, how do we do W? To get a W. To get W. You understand? Sometimes taking the L right now gets you the W. What I mean by that? Sometimes you almost have to play the game. So for instance, a Queen Butterfly situation, she sent a letter, but she knows the parent knows that she's done some wrongdoings. So in that sense, you almost got to take an L by going, okay, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to act like, almost like I've got amnesia, just like you, all right? But I'm going to come to you, I'm going to have a conversation. So mom, you know what? There were some things that were done that I weren't really feeling, right? But and this is how you see, I think in work, we call it an EBI, yeah? It means even better if. Sometimes you have to lace the person with a little bit of sugar to draw them in and then nuke them. You understand? So it's almost like, look, mom, do you know what? You've done, I know you've, so you have to almost start on a plane of understanding your parent on side is to find out their history. So rather than dealing with your issue immediately, you ask, mom, dad, what was your childhood like? What was it like for you? And this is where it sucks for you because you're thinking to yourself, you're a prick. I ain't gonna lie to you. You did me dirty. Like as a parent, you did me dirty. But you want to get them on side, so you have to do some other things, right? So you try to find out, okay, mom, why were you like this then? So what happened? Why was it that you? What was your childhood like? What was how did you grow up? What was your relationship with your mom? Some parents will not have this. I'm gonna put a disclaimer here. Some parents are not gonna have that discussion. Let's be honest, they're not. Yeah. All right. Cool. So one way is to ask about their background. Another way is to use what Prophet Nathan in the Bible used. Is to be very wise with the way that you give an analogy. I had a situation once with somebody, and I said to them, I was trying to get them to understand sexual violence and harassment. And I said to them, oh, I have this situation where a guy recently wouldn't leave this girl alone, wouldn't leave my sister alone, yeah? And he was doing all this A, B, C, and D. When I explained it to them, the person said, no, that's out of order. I can't believe the person did that, blah, blah, blah. And I said, that person is someone you know. Suddenly they're like, whoa, what do you mean? I said, yeah. I said, see how, I said, I've locked you in. Now you said that, remember I gave the analogy, it was about a true story. So sometimes you have to be like Prophet Nathan, and you have to almost give that person an analogy like he gave to David. He said, a man had 4 sheep. I had four pieces of sheep, and someone came along and took them all. What would you say to that man? And David said, that person's wicked. And then Nathan said, that person's you. You understand? So in that same fashion, another way to do it is to give an analogy to let your parent be able to understand what they're doing. Do you understand? Another way to discuss this issue is what was I talking about now? In terms of the conversation with that person. And another way, like I said, obviously, I think no, I'll leave it those two because those are the two main ways I like to just strategy wise get ahead of them. I know people have left comments. I'm missing out what you're saying. Ba, 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 ba. Yes, add a hot sauce. Therapy is also good. Same thing. Yeah, absolutely. Therapy. Yes, he would not respond. He wouldn't want me to progress with education. Be careful and protect your peace. Sometimes you need to protect your peace. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need to. Yeah. So 4 to 5, more love. I ain't seen for time. So true. Be realized about it's about articulating to them in a way that's respectful. They understand. Trust. Like I said, some of the parents we're talking about are willing to have a certain discussion. Just need to word it the right way. Some parents are lost, and I think I saw it in the comments there. Therapy is amazing, and here's why therapy is amazing. Therapy is amazing because the therapist will ask you questions that will get you thinking about why you feel the way you feel. And it will allow you to expand on how you're feeling. Because most people bottle up their feelings. Most people bottle up their anger. Let me tell you something. The Bible says, be angry, but sin not. So anger is not a problem. It's when we let the sun go down on our anger and we let it fester that it becomes bitterness. We let it fester and it becomes unforgiveness. You understand? That's when we start feeling some things. But therapy allows you to speak it outwardly and say, "Hey, this is what I'm feeling." Right? Because what happens is with anger, frustration, pain, it gets bottled up in the mind, and our mind becomes a prison. And the torment happens when we can't release ourselves from the thoughts of, "Why don't you want me? Why don't you love me? Why don't you care for me?" And the guilt on your head because you're like, what have I done to cause you? And you blame yourself even at one point. You feel like you've done something to cause that parent to do something because you're so used to someone telling you, or we're so used to as human beings being in control that okay, I must have done something to cause the issue. Sometimes you ain't done nothing. Parent's just a parent, bro. Parent's just a parent. Parent is just a parent. So sometimes you gotta protect your peace. Sometimes you gotta say, listen, I've tried to do it respectfully. I've tried to use a parent. I've tried to use an uncle and auntie. I've written letters. I have tried to come to you quietly. I've tried to speak to you in a respectful manner. I have done the buying of presents and gifts. I've tried everything. And you ain't changing. You don't want to change. You're in your season. And I got to protect my peace. I got to protect my peace. I got to protect my peace. You understand? Gosh. Oh, I appreciate it, Rita, man. Honestly, I love for that. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. So yeah. Oh, chicane. Wow. Chicane. Girl, you already know. I really appreciate y'all. You know I already appreciate y'all. Yes. So this is important that the way that we think about things is so important. The way that we understand certain things is so important. And so oftentimes our contention with our parent is from a misunderstanding. On They misunderstand you. Their generation doesn't understand what they're facing. They don't understand what you're facing. In fact, they actually belittle some of the things that you lot are going through. Yeah, you ever had a parent say, "In our day"? Listen, I'm gonna in our day. In your day is different from my day, my friends. You know what I'm saying? Your day is different from my day. In our day. What do you mean in our day? As if your day is hard. Listen, they are different. You see, so parents don't understand. Yeah, it's a bit like men who, especially, it's all important. Here's why: because it puts you in a different mindset. Yes, butterfly. Yes, because sometimes the one, and this, I'm even going to come on to that, because sometimes where we're coming from, the anger that we're feeling and the frustration we're feeling, when we come into a conversation, we're not ready for the conversation. We're ready for a beat down brow. We're ready to give you all types of bars. You understand? We're ready to give you all types of bars. You understand? If you have a difficult relationship with parents, it's harder to trust others. Yeah, how to keep your heart open. Okay, let's deal with. I'll deal with that, Kim, as well. And so, what prayer does, what therapy does, is it just gets you to reset yourself. Just reset yourself. Come to a place of calmness so that you can see all the field. When I used to play football, or even boxing, they'll tell you, if you get too emotional, you're gonna lose sight of what you're doing, and then you start to flail your arms, and then you're gonna start throwing wild punches. It needs you to be level-headed. In the same way, I can see where you're coming from, and then I can bring in what I'm saying, right? Exactly, Shola. And this is a thing. I think, especially when you're dealing with things like sexual violence, like say like, and women go through this a lot. I have to talk about this because I got a lot of women on my chat here. If you've been through something sexually violent, sexual assault, harassment, even rape, right? And you are wondering how your parent, you've heard some of your parents speak on the topic, and the way they've spoken is with absolute ignorance. And absolute, you are looking at them like, how can you talk about a subject like this? Like, you've heard your parent maybe say, you know what, it's your fault. It's not even your fault. They might say, your parent might say, it's always a fault of the woman. That's why they do. Listen, let me tell you something. Sometimes when people say these things, it's because they've gone through it themselves. They themselves are dealing with the issue that they're talking about so roughly. Yeah? They themselves have been conditioned by it. Right? And so sometimes, yes, you want to speed in there with energy and vim, and you want to come in there with absolute bars, but then you don't realize, man, like Demi, I appreciate you, more love. Sometimes you don't realize that they've actually gone through what you've gone through. And they're talking from a place of, they're also themselves are in a prison. They're in a prison. And they're struggling to also be able to talk about the subject. This is why I said the onus sometimes falls on us as the children to kind of push it forward. Appreciate you, Demi, man. More love for that, man, bro. I respect it. And so sometimes that's why I said to you guys, sometimes calm. If you can take that step back, I know you're hurt and I know you're angry. And we're not saying, I want you to be very, very clear. We're not saying park your feelings or what you've gone through. No. If you park it, you're going to hurt yourself more. What we're saying is slow down. Before you react in a situation, let's think about this. Maybe we can kind of think about where they're coming from. This is why I said to you previously that being able to understand where they're coming from, like some of the things I realized, even talking to, as I had conversations with my dad, he never had a dad. So I said, and once I started studying psychology a little bit, I'm not going to tell you like I studied bare psychology, please, I'm not going to lie to you. But when I started a little bit of psychology, and I started to realize people who don't have parents are trying to make it up as they go along. I mean, they haven't got that information. Do you understand? So they're also trying to make things go up along as they go along. So sometimes when my dad was saying certain things, I know what he was saying, right? But I have my own way of thinking, right? I was a fat kid. Yeah, I was fat. Okay. And I remember my dad said to me, wow, you're getting really fat. You got breasts. You're getting breasts. Like a woman. And the way he said it with a tone, it broke me, cuz. Absolutely broke me. All confidence shattered, bro. All shattered, demoralized. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. This marriage, I appreciate you. Hey, make sure you guys follow This Is Marriage World. They break down some stuff all the time, okay? They break stuff all the time. So make sure you follow them on Instagram as well. This Is Marriage. Please follow them. They talk about a whole host of issues around relationships. So yeah, when my dad said it to me, it broke me. Yeah? It broke me. It finished me, bro. You understand? And I didn't realize what effect it had on me. You understand? Woman ain't fat. I appreciate. Yes, yeah. Trust me. And it has such a psychological effect on my mind. Yeah. So that when now I interact with him, I don't want to interact with him the same way. You see, the Bible says something very, very interesting. Love counts no wrongs. Again, I'm not telling you to forget. I'm telling you, tamper the anger and the way you want to address the issue. Because when you're able to say, okay, do you know what? I'm hurt by this. And a lot of times we don't say we're hurt. A lot of times we say, I'm angry about it. But actually, you're not angry, you're hurt. You're disappointed. You're frustrated. Anger usually isn't the principal feeling you're feeling. And actually, if you search yourself, you'll find that your expectation of your parent to be a parent is what hurts the most. Do you understand? It's the fact that they let down on your expectation. You expected them to be a parent towards you, to love you, and they broke that expectation. That's what causes the pain. But if you're unable to articulate that yourself and unable to even introspectively look in yourself and say, this hurt me, when you begin to address it with your parent, it's difficult to. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we can deal with the parent in a way that maybe that's not going to bring the best result for us. And I'm not trying to tear anybody of us down. And what I'm trying to say to us is that let's get to a point where we can introspectively look at ourselves and say, what is it I'm feeling? You know what I'm saying? But actually, when we take it back and say, actually, do you know what? Man's actually hurt by what you did. And this is why I'm hurt. I'm hurt because you said that, when I said about my dreams of going to play football, for instance, or I said I wanted to be an MUA, a makeup artist, you said, you didn't even say anything. You laughed, you scoffed. And I interpreted that as you not caring about my goals and my dreams. And that hurt me because I want you as my parent to be my biggest supporter. Because I actually want you as a parent, because I love you and I want my parent to be proud of me. I need that validation. I need my parents' validation to tell me that, hey, I need your validation. I need you to tell me that you're proud of what I'm doing. Yeah? Because a lot of these parents, let me tell you something, a lot of these parents, and I'm not saying every parent, because some parents, let me tell you something, yeah? They need Jesus, because some of the way they behave. But a lot of these parents are used to surviving. And in survival mode, you don't talk about emotions. There is no time for there's no time for emotions in surviving. In surviving, it is all about making sure I survive this moment. In surviving, it's all about now. It's not about the future. It's about what I do now. Don't forget I put a roof over your head. Don't forget I put food on the table. Don't forget I put the clothes on the back of you, bro. Don't forget I bought you the PS4 a long time ago. Don't forget that, you know what? Because of me, you go to school. Don't forget that when you needed shoes, I bought shoes. Don't forget this. Don't forget this. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. That's all well and good. You did all the materials things. But you forgot there was an emotional side of the individual. Do you know why they forgot that? Because they themselves have forgot there's an emotional side of themselves. They themselves have forgot that they have emotions. Do you know why? Because they were so used to fighting. At one point in time, they were literally fighting for their lives. They told themselves, I can't deal with emotions. Therefore, they can't deal with your emotions. Do you see it? So sometimes a parent is locked in to what they were dealing with at their time. That's why I said that if we can slow down, process what we feel, what we truly feel, when we come to them, it will make a lot of parents, not all, a lot of parents reconsider how they actually feel and actually what they've actually done. So that's why I said to you, lace it with sugar first by saying, do you know what? I appreciate you as a parent because I know some parents, because when I needed shoes, you bought them for me. I appreciate you as a parent because when I was going to school, I had food on the table. I had a packed lunch. I had money for school dinners or whatever, right? Once you said all the lovely things to boost them up, then you can say, and here's my thing. I appreciate all the things you've done. And as a parent, I can't imagine some of the pressures you faced. But I want to let you know, obviously, that as you've done those things and they've blessed me in that particular aspect, myself, I've been drowning. I've been suffering. I've been hurt. I've been feeling some way because, there was this and that. And when you did this particular thing, I know that you were trying to maybe say something, but it didn't come across like that to me. It didn't, I didn't interpret that way, you know? It's a bit like dating. A lot of our parents, it's a bit like dating. Oftentimes in relationships, people don't tell the other person that they're hurt. Nah, they just do what they just go off on an argument and just and bang it out. Rather than say, actually, do you know when you said to me the other day, yeah, that you didn't like my hair the way you liked it? The tone that you took, I took it offensively. Yeah. But what we'll do rather, we'll just go bang. We just go from 0 to 100 and we argue about something that may necessarily might not be the actual reason why we're hurt. Do you understand? So again, I want you to understand, I am not trying to dismiss your pain. Your pain must be acknowledged, it must be addressed, but we must be able to find a way to inject it into the situation. You understand? Like a lot of us, because of our pain, have become very introspective. We are aware when we do something wrong. But our parents, being parents, let me tell you something about parenthood. If any of you are older siblings, yeah, if any of your older siblings in here, if any of you are older siblings, I know, I look crazy, don't worry. If any of your older siblings, yeah, in your family, okay, you will know there is a privilege that comes with older sibling. But if you talk to your younger sibling, and some of us, not all of us, some of us were great older siblings, some of us were really good older siblings, some of us, we need some help. You know what I'm saying? For those of you, like, if you have a conversation with your younger sibling and actually ask them, how was it when I was your older sibling? How has it been? Like, I'm your older sibling. How has it been? Was there anything that I could have done better? Let me tell you something. When that old younger sibling starts telling you some of the, you lie. Do you know why I did that? It's because you did this, that, right? And suddenly you realize how easy it is to be locked into a viewpoint, okay? It can be, and then you suddenly realize how easy it can be locked into a certain viewpoint. That when you are given a position of responsibility, because of you wanting to meet responsibility, sometimes you forget there are other aspects of responsibility. Like when we talk about in management, right? In business, we talk about how certain managers are not, they have got no interpersonal skills. But if the ship is going down, you can trust them. They will make sure the ship doesn't go down. When a situation pops off, you know that manager who is got no interpersonal skills will always drag everybody over the line. Yeah? In the moment of crisis, you know that manager, yeah, that you don't like will get it done. But they got no interpersonal skills. And that's some of our parents. No interpersonal skills. Let me read some of the comments. Sorry, I've been talking. I ain't even checked some of the comments. Let's see where we at. Let's see where we at. Love the scripture. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers over the multitude of sins. Yes, Nazari. Appreciate that. Yes, Cynthia, we need to become more effective parents. I noticed I had a break. Generational traits caused by my dad ended up repeating the exact same thing as his. Wow, that is a big thing. Actually, we need to talk about that as well. Queen Butterfly said, my mum was very angry at her father, but never sat down and had a discussion with him. He passed away 10 years ago. Wow. And that's a big thing as well, And even me, I'm listening to that now, and I'm trying to take stock of that because that's real. That even if we hate our parents or we don't like our parents, or we don't get along, that's why I said to you, write a letter. Because at least if you write a letter and deliver it, it's in their hands. Whether they did with it, whatever, it's in their hands. So at least for you can feel a little bit of comfort that you said what you need to say. But when you harbor it and avoid conversation and avoid trying to address the issue, all you're gonna do is harbor feelings of I never got the chance to say it. I never got a chance to say it. I never got a chance to say this. I never got a chance to say that. Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes people do need to have these conversations, even if it means that we're gonna say, you know what, it's better we just don't talk. You know what I'm saying? But at least I got it out. You know what I'm saying? At least I said what I need to say. Yes, Rebecca. Especially, I don't know about Caribbeans how they are, but I know Africans, the pride, yeah, of a parent having to come to their child and even say sorry. Hey! The amount of pride in them, right? And here's the thing. Here's something I want to mention aside that. I want you to make sure you are not going to repeat the mistakes of your father and mother. I want you to make sure that you note down every single thing that you felt like your parent didn't do. Make sure you're going to do that for your child. Yeah? Everything you felt your parent didn't do, I want you to write it down. I want you to note it down. I want you to put it down. I want you to engrave it down. I want it to be in your notepad, in your phone, on paper. I want you to note it down. Here's why. Because you're going to look at that and say, what aspect do I fall short in that I have to make sure with my child I don't repeat the same mistakes? Because what you're not aware of, you're doomed and bound to repeat the same. You feel me? So we want to make sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes. We want to make sure we don't repeat the same thing. We want to make sure when we write it down, we are going down a completely different path. Because I remember someone like Chris Brown was saying, he was like, his mother, he saw his mother get beat by his father and then went and beat Rihanna up. See, until you start to realize there are things that if you don't start to work through the things that you've experienced, you're going to repeat the same mistakes. Yeah, you're going to repeat the same mistake and continue onwards what someone else has done. Let me just read some of the comments as well. Yes, comments, sorry, they don't want to say, man. Honestly, that pride, Chile, that pride, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, surviving brings an edge of toughness in order to cope with their harshness and responsibilities of reality. Yes, but its energy degrades our emotions to the basic principle, primal function of just getting through. Yeah, do you know what? You know, when you are trying to survive, a lot of it's trauma. You know, imagine how, I always think to myself, how did a slave survive? By turning off their emotions. Turn off their emotions. If you feel, you're going to die. And I think that's where a lot of our parents have, coming from Africa or Caribbean, coming over here, experiencing racism and hardships. You got a degree and they're telling you to go and wash pants. You got a degree and they're calling you a monkey. You got a degree of racism. And imagine what your parents are suffering when they came over, you know? So a lot of these parents are in traumatic modes. You know, they need therapy. They probably won't ever take it, but they need therapy, right? And so sometimes the buck has to stop with you. Sometimes the buck has to stop with you. So here's the thing. If your parent is refusing, and I'm going to tell you this now, if you've tried everything underneath the sun and the parent refuses, you're even praying and it seems like nothing's working, here's the thing. Work on you. Do you know why? Because one day you're going to have kids. Hopefully. One day you're going to have kids and they're going to need a holistic, whole, beautiful you. What your parent couldn't do for you, you are going to do for your child. Do you understand? If your parent refuses to acknowledge and have a conversation and in fact dismisses you and doesn't even want to talk to you ever again, and they've told you they're even disowning you, like some parents do, yeah? Then let me tell you something. That parent, okay, just chill. Don't throw anything at it, but note it down and tell yourself, I cannot be like that. So let me learn how to undo what you've done. Let me learn about how this has affected me so I'm not going to repeat what you've done. Because what I don't want is a kid in the future also looking at me going, I can't go and talk to my parent. Because then you're in the same boat. Then you've not changed anything. You've not been a generational changer. You've just contributed towards a flow of madness. Okay? Let me see what the comments are saying. Yes. You can't, man. You can't. Appreciate you, Niche, man. More love for this, man. Would you say moving out is an option in that case? Berta, let me be very honest with you. Some of us need to move out. Some of us need to move the heck out. I'm going to be very real. Some of us need to move out because some of us, our parents don't appreciate us until we moved out. Some of us, our parent don't, when we were in the house, our parent never spoke to us. The moment we moved out, the parents ringing you. They suddenly realized. And that will let you know, some of our parents, the pride is what stopped them from ringing you. The pride is what stopped them from having a conversation with you. The pride is what stopped them from actually coming to you and saying, hey, how are you doing today? But now you've moved out, they're ringing you. Do you get me? Let me be very frank with you. Willing to still buy you things, still contribute to certain things, still do the basic principles of physical effort towards your welfare. That parent loves you. I'm going to be very real with you. That parent loves you, but they're unable to show you emotions. If that is your case, if you're at home now and you can testify, your parent would put a roof over your head, will make sure that the house is warm and make sure you're in it. They don't abuse you necessarily, right? I'm gonna just be frank because some parents are abusing, and that's a completely different story. But they're not talking to you necessarily. That parent has a pride that's stopping them from having conversation with you. Something's happened to them. You gotta go to them. You gotta go to them. Because if they're willing to put a roof over your head, they care for you. If they're willing to put food in your belly, they care for you. If they're willing to do these things, they have some level of care for you. It's just that something stops them from going into the emotional side of things. You feel what I'm saying? You feel me? So that means there is a conversation to be had. Now, I can bet you some of you who have gone to your parents to have a conversation, they shut you down. So they don't want to talk about it right now. They don't want to hear your voice right now. In that case, like I said, what we spoke about earlier about lacing it with sugar, praying about it, knowing what their love language is, getting them at the right. Listen, Africans too, right timing is so key for them. They honestly, they are like ecclesiastics in the flesh. They're like time and season underneath the sun for everything. Yeah. So when you are coming to your parent at a certain point, you know that sometimes they're not ready for that conversation. They're just not gonna have it. You understand? So you almost got to be sly and go, when are they free? You know. So sometimes what I do, when I speak to my dad, I call him, probably about 9 o'clock. I know he's getting ready, close to getting ready to bed, but I know he's in the living room. I know he's sitting down. I know he's probably just either watching football or something on the internet. Yeah. When I call him, he'll pick up and he'll have a conversation. My mum too. I know she's free. She's normally watching her movies. Fuck, I don't want to. When I'm in the house, I don't interrupt when she's watching movies. Yeah. When I was in the house, I didn't do it because she'll tell me go away, go away. When I left the house, come and see how my mum is calling me, bruv. Hey, she's asked me to come and bring her, bruv. You understand? So sometimes moving out does help because sometimes the distance makes the heart grow fonder. Sometimes the distance also means as well, I can see you different pains and they don't want to talk about it to you, right? Sometimes certain things happen in their relationship with both parties and they can't talk to you, and there's so many different things that can happen. Let's see what comments are saying because otherwise I don't want to go too far without talking about things. Cynthia G, honestly, love, thank you so much. All of you that are contributing, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, man. Pay for my rent, Kojo. Sunshine, if you don't get out of here, guys, if you don't follow Sunshine, make sure you follow her YouTube. I'm sure you guys probably seen her with Nella Rose and stuff. Sunshine is a funny individual. Honestly, she's a real one from day one, man. I've known her for a long time. Envy, my daughter is struggling because her dad, who grew up with a strong woman, playing both roles of mother and father to raise him. He expects my daughter to completely leave her feminine side to the side. Oh. Okay, so envy, see that, yeah? Remember, I said earlier on, parents, a lot of them are ignorant. And I'm telling you not to tell your parent that they're ignorant. When I say ignorant, it means they lack knowledge in a certain area. See, the person's got a fixated prejudice already. With prejudice, it means sometimes it's prejudice and discrimination is often brought from a lack of knowledge. So someone's made an ideology of something based on just what they've heard. They don't necessarily mean it's true. It's not really based on truth, right? So sometimes what you see is that my daughter's struggling because her dad, who grew up with a strong woman playing both roles of mother and father to raise him, he expects my daughter to completely leave her feminine side. So here's it. Here's the thing. Someone's got to be able to talk in the ear of the father, right? And something about women is so powerful. You will notice Eve never, ever, yeah, spoke anything to Adam. She just gave him the fruit, yeah? Because what men understand is action, okay? Men are very to the point. You understand? So sometimes fluttering around with I feel doesn't work for them. Yeah. So someone like that, when Envy's giving an example about my daughter is struggling because her dad, Nisha, I appreciate you, man. Love for that. Because her dad, who grew up with a strong woman playing both roles of mother and father, sometimes as a woman, the greatest gift that you have is that you can move a man without doing too much. Yeah. And the way to do this is to give him straight fact. Don't play. Right? This is what she feels. A, B, C, and D. And remember, I said lace it. Don't leave it alone. Lace it with sugar. Yeah? Now, she feels this way. Now, she's not saying that you're a bad father. She actually thinks you're an amazing father. She's not saying that you're not good at what you do, that you neglect or anything. What she's saying is that she just wants a bit more. What she's saying is that she just wants you to act in this part? Is there any way that we can come to a compromise to get you to understand what she's saying? Because if you attack him, his defenses go up. The wall goes up. Like imagine an army coming to attack another attacking a castle. What is the castle gonna do? They're gonna lift up the drawbridge, right? But the Trojan horse, yeah, the Trojan horse said, nah, 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 nah. We're just gonna send the Trojan horse into the building, okay? And the Trojan horse is gonna enter very slowly, and before you know it, we're in there. Yeah? So a woman's job, a woman's power, sorry, her gift as a woman is that she's able to deliver Trojan horses. You see, men sometimes undervalue and actually sometimes don't realize the power of a woman. Yeah? But a lot of men are moved by women. That's why they do all they do. You understand? So sometimes coming in and lacing it with a little bit of sugar, okay, and then sometimes just to the point saying, listen, hey, this is what our daughter is saying. That. I'm talking specific to MV's point, by the way. That sometimes just lacing a bit of sugar and coming in sweetly will kind of break the shell of what he's feeling. Not criticizing his parenthood, not criticizing his parenting, but then saying, okay, this is what you've done well. All that she's saying is that, can you do this? Because this will even be better if. You understand? Just saying, you know what I mean? Where we at? That's why I might have missed some points. By the grace of God. Shola said, my mom said sorry a few years ago back after my dad left and I cried. She has really changed. She is the best mother. I can't lie. We have an open conversation now. Yeah, Shola, see, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes, you see, and sometimes, you see, I'm sure your mom wanted to say to you, I love you and I care for you. And it took, unfortunately, a situation like that for her to humble and come to you. That's what I'm saying to you. A lot of people, our parents are trying to be humble. They just don't know how and have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Let's see where we at. Yes, my mom became so motherly when I left. This is why I tell you, my brother, to move out. Yeah, sometimes, Joe, honestly, when you move out, yeah, your parents, honestly, it's like you've got a whole new parent. You know what I mean? Maybe our parents didn't get affection from our parents, so they say they don't know how to live. Yes, like I said, I said about my dad, like Novelette. Thank you for that comment as well. You know, I want to take my money. You know, like sometimes our parents. I've never. You can't give something you don't know. You don't know how to give. You know what I mean? Like you've never had love. It's hard to give out this love. You know what I mean? So a lot of our parents sometimes are in that position where they're struggling to that. And I'm not. Again, it sounds like I'm advocating for our parents all the time. All I'm trying to get us to do is to understand. I remember. Let me tell you something that happened to me. Because this is why I said to you that having somebody who you trust is so important. I used to work in Barclays, yeah, and I used to have a lot of conversation with different people. I remember African parents came in, yeah, and I was a banker, yeah, and the parents came in to sit down in my office. And I had spoken to the daughter previously, and she was saying like my parents just don't understand me, and she listed some things that her parents wouldn't do. Now, as a banker, I saw how the parents revered me as a banker. You know, the parents that saw me in a good job, they think I'm doing bits. I'm just a banker, baby. They ain't paying me that much. But they think I'm doing bits, right? So I said, okay, cool. Don't worry. When you are next in the bank, I will talk to them. All right, cool. They came into the bank. They were doing their transaction. They came and sat down in my office, and I said to the parents, I said to the girl, I said, do you realize how hard it is for your parents sometimes? The parents thought I was on their side and I was lacing them with sugar. They didn't realize. I said, do you know how hard it is for your parents that they have to work, cook, clean, provide? I said, do you know how expensive it is? I said, have you paid a bill before? You don't know how it feels. When you start paying bills, you will start to realize life ain't easy, right? So the girl's looking at me like I'm all weird, like, what are you doing? I said, don't, just trust me. You know what I'm saying? Look, give her a look like, trust me, right? Now I've laced the parents. The parents don't understand what's going on. They're thinking, I'm making sure the daughter understands how hard it is for them. And then I came into the parents and I said, Mum, Dad, you know what? Your daughter, yeah, she's a good girl. You know, she's very smart and intelligent. You know, sometimes though, she just wants you to kind of understand that she's working as hard as she can. And that she wants you to look at me, and they were like, we hear you. Why? Because I didn't come on I'm going to tell you what to do your job or to be a better parent. All I just said to them was like, look, this is what she's feeling. But I had to lace them first. I had to bless them and look. You know, like when you see Bossman in Africa you have to kind of You have to pay something to get past certain way. I started paying them small, with sweet words. You know, the Bible says that our tongue is like poison. What if it's like poison? If it can be like poison, it can also be like an antidote, right? So I need to be able to speak some words that are gonna just be able to get you to feel a certain way. You know what I mean? I need to make you feel comfortable so that when I begin to address the issue, you're not hurting. You're not feeling like you're under attack. You understand? So that's why I said to you that sometimes having that person who's there, who can talk to your parents in a polite way, or like your parents always have that one person they compare you to, that is a friend of yours, and they say, "Oh, why don't you be more like them?" If you trust them enough, and if they're cool enough for you, you can get them to speak on your behalf, because your parents will listen to them. You understand? That's what we call Trojan horses. Trojan horses. You know what I mean? People out here ask me to pay their rent. If they don't, be said, stop playing that. You lot are funny. Um, yeah. Yes, Maya, absolutely, absolutely. How would you deal with a parent who criticized you as a parent? Here's my thing: with a parent who criticizes somebody, a parent who criticizes a child, I always believe it's because they're highly critical of themselves. A parent who criticizes a child all the time is because they're highly critical of themselves, right? And there are things within that parent that they are not happy with, and therefore they actually project their feelings of hurt, pain, disgust about themselves onto you. Yeah? So sometimes that parent, sorry, let me get this. Sometimes that parent is projecting how they feel onto you. And so in the sense of how you deal with it is, as I said, you've got to almost kind of figure out why they got here, right? So one way to do it, like I said, is to go to the parents and say, listen, mom, I think you're great, you're amazing. Or dads, I keep saying mums, like dads ain't trash either. I keep saying mums, like mums are the only ones that have problems. Dad have problems too. Dad, mum, I just want to find out why why it feels like you're. I want to find out because it feels like you are very critical and harsh with some of the things you say to me. See, the question, because you don't want to say you are doing, because then you don't know what answer of why they're doing. Because the why is the most important question. The what, the where, the when, the how is okay. We can get that already from what you're doing, but the why, because then I can break down where you're coming from. So it's like the question. So you lace it with a question. You don't tell them what they've done. You say, I feel like, you know what? I kind of feel like, obviously, that it feels like you've been critical. I don't know. Maybe that's the way I'm interpreting it. Do you feel like you've been critical of me, highly critical? So that you could, and you have to ask an open, when in business we talk about stemming. Yeah, stemming means to ask questions that stem a conversation, right? When I want to get somebody talking, I ask open-ended questions. I don't keep it closed. I don't do yeses and nos. We do questions like, hey, so rather than saying, oh, see, how was your day? So like, how was your day? Like, what was the best part of your day today? Oh, okay. What was the worst part of your day today? Right? Oh, that allows for you to be qualitative, not quantitative. You know what I mean? So now you're asking questions for your parents. It's like, so that's why I said you got to sit down and think about this. Don't rush into it so that you can get your questions prepared. Hey, you know what? Mom, dad, you know what? I kind of feel like a little bit like there has been a little bit of, I don't know. I feel like I've been critiqued a lot. But I don't know. How do you feel? Do you feel like you've critiqued me quite a bit? I don't know. Actually, even that's a closed question. So that's a poor example. So question be rather be like, yeah, I feel like I've been critiqued. Why? Let me frame this correctly. Let me get this right. I don't want to frame a wrong question. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Why would you? Why is it that you spoke? Okay. Yeah. So here. So let's say you pick up a specific examples. Let's say your parents said always on your case for you're not clean. You don't clean your room. You're not smart. You're not this. You're not that. You can pick up one of these and say, okay, mom, why do you feel like I'm not smart? Mom, why do you feel like I'm not clean? Mom, why do you feel like I'm going to fail? Mom, why do you feel... You see, because what you want to do is get them this so that they can actually answer the question, right? And if they do and an R and they're not sure why they can answer the question, then you have to think, if they can't give an answer, that means something is eating them and they're projecting onto you. And at the moment when they're umming and ahhing and not sure what they're going to say, then you can proceed further and say, you know what, I don't think you were trying to hurt me, you know. But in the process of saying what you said, you did kind of hurt me. Don't even say kinda. You did hurt me. Yeah? But I know you wasn't trying to kill me, right? So I was just trying to find out why you said what you said, because maybe you had a reason as to why you said what you said. Do you understand? And this is what I'm saying to it's very painful because you have to always think about how you're hurt, but then you have to tamper how you feel. Whereas your parent doesn't mind. Gonna do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Raw, 7:37 p. Okay, you're repeating America, yeah. Bro, Niche, no worries, man. I'll try and save it. Last one I didn't save. You know what I mean? It was doing madness, but we're gonna try and save it. Okay. So I'm gonna do last 5 minutes. Guys, do you have any questions? Let me put it out there. Guys, any questions out there? Let me answer some questions. I've been talking to loads. Maybe we'll do a part two as well, because I think this is a very deep subject. But throw some questions out there for me, guys. What you guys feeling? What you guys hearing? What kind of situations have you guys have encountered in your domain? And let's talk about it as well. Jeez, the hair is a lot right now. Yeah, give me some questions as to what you've been experiencing, what you felt and stuff, and let's talk about it before we go. If there's no questions, I'll wrap it up. But I just want to see if anyone else got some questions so that we can discuss some things as well going forward. Zadiyadadai. Father, we declare that we love you. We declare our everlasting love for you. Yes, Father, Father, we declare that we love you. We declare our everlasting love for you. So we declare, Father, we declare everlasting love for you. If you've got any questions, guys, just let me know down below. I'm just going to worship a little bit. Father, we declare that we love you. We declare our everlasting love for you. And we will say that you are good, and all the miracles you done have brought us joy. And we will say, 'cause all the hope we have, we place in you right now. Yes, Father, we declare that we love you, and we declare our everlasting love for you. We're singing, Father, Father, we declare that we love you, and we declare our everlasting love for you. All right, cool. So I don't think I had any more questions from anybody as of yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to close it for now, because we've been on for an hour and a half now and a bit. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week, I don't have a topic yet. So what I want you guys to do, I haven't got a topic yet. Next week, what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to message me on Instagram. Let me know what kind of topics you want me to address in the live. Because what I want to do on these lives, it's not about me talking about whatever I want to talk about. I really want to be able to help and address real topics in it. So next week, between now and next week, Wednesday, 11 p.m., I want you guys to message me topics of what you feel, what you want us to address. What is it you feel you want to help with? I also want to let you guys know I do some, I don't like to call it counseling because I don't give you any advice. What I do is present the options, okay? I do what we call, I think it's an empowerment model, we call it, which is I listen to you, I hear you, and then I present the options you have at hand. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I will literally listen to you and present what options you have. So if you need someone like that to talk to, you need someone to have a conversation with, again, it's not free, because time ain't free, no individuals as well, in terms of what you can work with a budget. Because I do understand it's not easy out here in COVID, okay? So it's not about making a meal ticket of people, but rather I want to be able to help as much as I can. So if you do need that service, please do contact me by Instagram, message me. For those of you obviously who have been on the live, thank you so much. Any of you who contribute financially, I thank you. Those who haven't been able to contribute, I don't mind. Thank you for joining me. You don't understand. When I see you guys in the chat and you're interacting and talking to one another, offering advice to one another, I appreciate it. This is what the family's about. This is what Mineral Gang's about. It's about love and it's about family. So guys, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on here and talking and being involved with the conversation. Hopefully it will save this time because last time it didn't try to save, innit? So again, remember, lace it. Lace the conversation with sugar before you deal with it. All right? Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. More love. And I appreciate you'll be back here next week. Appreciate you guys. I know I have to turn it off this time, guys. You guys didn't left me hanging last time.